It's just after 3 o'clock here in the UK. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. My name's Naeem, and I guess this is the first episode of NAC TV Live. So thank you for joining me. I'm really pleased today to be able to take the opportunity to talk to you about our next exciting project. And what we really want to do is we really want to use this opportunity to try and involve a few of you in our next project and give you that opportunity to get involved as well. Now, you might be watching this on a couple of different platforms. That's fine, no problem. Wherever you're watching it, get involved, comment, share, like, let me know what's going on, and we will try and respond to you as best we can. So what I want to do is, before I tell you about this new project, I need to tell you a little bit about a little story, a little journey of mine. And one of the things I really want to be really clear on is that this isn't really a money story. If you're going to listen to this story and think about the money-making opportunities already, then you've possibly missed the point. The thing I found is that when we get great jobs, great opportunities, it gives us the opportunity to do other things. And in the last year, I've had the fortune to help quite a few people on this journey, and it's definitely given me opportunities. And I think that's what I'd like people to think about when they hear this story. And I want to have the right kind of people on this project, rather than people who are thinking, right, I can use that opportunity that Naeem's giving me in order to make money. So I really want you to think about the right thing. And for this story, we've got to go back to about 2006, 2005, 2006. I was working at a company called Smith & Nephew. I was looking after the European financial solutions. I was a business analyst, and we were doing projects, and I was particularly expertise in the finance areas, that is accounting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, fixed assets and things like this. I was earning just over £40,000, which is a very reasonable salary. I was 10 years into my career, and I'd already said to myself when I was at school, I thought 40,000 was a lot of money when I was 18. And so I'd achieved quite a lot already in 10 years. But the thing I had was that I had quite a lot of opportunity and quite a lot of knowledge. I'd worked with my parents' businesses for so many years that I definitely wasn't short of confidence. And I certainly understood things in a very different way than some of my colleagues did. And we went out to the US. It was at Florida. It was a conference there. And as I was listening to some of the expert speakers on stage, I was thinking to myself, well, you know, I sort of know at least what they know, if not better. I guess there was a tone of frustration in my voice, because what I was thinking was that if these guys are experts, I feel like I've flown all the way across the world to listen to these experts, and they're actually not that bigger experts than me. You know, there's quite a few things they're talking about that, you know, I've got insights about. But the difference was that these guys were on stage and I wasn't. And these guys had certain assets. Now, if you think back in 2005, 2006, yes, we had the internet. Yes, we had social media in some form or the other. It wasn't as easy as it was now. And when I came away from that conference, I sat down with a couple of friends, a couple of people I respected, and we talked about a few things. And, you know, the things that we thought about, you know, there's the professional qualifications in terms of things like the MBA, there's being published. There's a bunch of things like this. We thought that these guys had the monopoly, and these guys were able to stand on stage and say these things. And that's what gave them that authority. And so when we came back, I sat down and we started a project. I started a project. No idea how it's going to go. I started doing my MBA as well, and I started a book project. And that book project, you know, 9 months in, I was struggling to finish it. I'd never written something this big before. No real experience of being a writer, you know. And I took a friend of mine who I worked with called Tasif, and we completed our first book project, which was published. And this was published back in 2008 by SAP Press. And what this did is, all of a sudden, as soon as this was published, the next year when the conference came up, I actually got asked to come and speak at the conference. So it was published in 2008, 2009. I was asked to come and speak in the conference in the US, in Europe, and suddenly opportunities started coming about. And as I left that employment, went into further employment, I suddenly found that as opposed to saying to people, I'd love this job because I've got so many projects experience, I was also able to say to them, and like everyone else has got that experience, and by the way, here's my book, you're welcome to keep a copy of it, because that suddenly elevated my CV and my profile. And what I realized is that with that one asset, my value massively increased. With that one asset, I've been definitely much more memorable. I now had photos, and we used to have people used to take big photos with big cameras and send you a electronic photo, and it was all the rage. I wasn't on Twitter or anything at those days. So suddenly my profile became bigger, and I had the opportunity to now charge more money, because now when people were looking for a consultant with my skills, I wasn't just a consultant with those skills. I was now a branded consultant. I was an author. I was a published author. I was a speaker at conferences in the US. The first one I did in Europe was in Amsterdam. Then I did Prague, Nice. So I did all these different conferences around Europe, and I spoke in Vegas. So suddenly I got this asset, and then with the one book, great. Guess what happened then? A little bit of time later, we wrote another book. And that was great. We kept getting asked to come and speak at conferences. Whenever I now started to pitch for work, or I turned up on a client site, then it wasn't no longer Naeem, he's a functional consultant, or Naeem is he's another one of the consultants out in the market. It was Naeem, he's the author of that book. And one of our books got published in Mandarin, biggest language out there. Readership wise, I guess after English, got published in Russian. So suddenly all these things happened, and in that period, I suddenly became way more than just a consultant. I was a published author, I was a speaker, I was asked to deliver specialist training courses. We did develop some training courses of our own, and people no longer said, can I get a consultant in this sector? What they said is, can we get Naeem? And that massively made me stand out. And as well as working for companies and becoming a branded consultant, so I could contract on my own and go and work for other companies as brands. What was happening is that I was getting inquiries, people saying to me, you're a consultant, you're really famous, obviously you've got your family businesses, can you come and help us with our business? And I was a little bit like, well, I work in a big business. And people would say, yeah, but you've worked in the family business. I've seen you on the shop floor on a Saturday. We had a restaurant as well at one time. I've seen you cooking. I've seen you talking to customers, serving tables. You understand this. Can you come give me a hand? And what happened is, to family and friends, I'd literally just go and give them some advice, and we sit down, and they'd buy me dinner or give me a gift or something like that. And that was literally what it was. I had no concept of that time of any way in which my business could change. And as my value reached that plateau, I suddenly started thinking about, okay, what's the next stage here? What can I do? Other people are catching me up. Suddenly other people are writing books, and other people are doing the same kind of things I'm doing. I'm no longer special. And someone passed me this book. It was the original version. I can't remember if this is the original or the new version, called Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. And I hated reading books. So what I did is I read a bit of it, and I thought, oh, that sounds good. And then I read another bit and another bit, and eventually I read the book, and then I watched the video. And then it was actually the 8th of October in 2016 when I met Daniel. Signed the book to me. And I did a course called Key Person of Influence, which is a course that Dan runs. And yeah, it changed my mind on a lot of things, because he talked about a lot of things which I thought I needed, I was missing in my life and in my profile. And, he talks about 5 competencies, and the profile competency talks about things like having lots of artifacts in your gallery, having a social media presence. I wasn't really using social media for anything more than checking cricket scores and checking in to when I went to the cinema or something like this. I wasn't really using social media properly. I had a LinkedIn account, but it was more really to try and look for jobs rather than to try and raise my profile. Things like books, podcasts, and things like that. He really talked about those things. And off the back of doing the course, wrote or got involved in the Fit for Purpose leadership book, which was fantastic. I then poured my heart and soul, and I genuinely mean this, because writing a book, one of these books is a lot easier because it's a collab book. There was quite a few of us working on this book, so I was writing as well as a number of the authors. This book, it's only got my picture on the back because it's my book. I wrote this on my own, and writing a book like this takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of money, time, investment, and you're thinking about stuff. You're putting your best foot forward. You're putting your best thinking forward. I'm trying to find some pictures now to show you. There's a lot of things that go into a book, because you almost feel that I'm going to write a book, and what if no one cares? What if no one cares? Why write a book, and what if I talk loads of rubbish? And for that reason, you spend a lot of time when it's your own book, putting it together, getting feedback, going back and forwards. This model we put together took absolutely ages to not only put a model together, but also then to draw it out in a way that we felt made sense. And, this started off as all sorts of things: squares, boxes, charts. It started off as a roadmap, and eventually I settled on that way. But writing a book was a massive part of where I am today. And, this book itself, this is going to be my masterpiece. This is the best book I'll ever write, because it's about me, and it's about what I know, and it's about what I learned from my parents growing up. It's what I learned with all the different clients I worked with, British Airways, the BBC, I'm trying to think, Emirates, Sony Music, some fantastic names that if you had them as clients and you were able to go and do a project there, you're going to learn so many different things. B&Q, for instance, I did a project at B&Q, and when the project went live and a couple of months later I popped into B&Q and there's a screen, I said, I designed that screen. And my wife and my family was like, yeah, but for me, it was a massive achievement, and all that experience went into this book, and this was my masterpiece. And these kind of books, like Daniel's written a number of books, but these kind of books take a lot of investment. So when it came time to write my next book, Customer Experience, I felt, can I go through that? And I said, no, I can't go through all of that again. But by the same token, I really felt with this book that it didn't belong to anybody. So the topic, customer experience, didn't belong to anybody. Customer first, it's my topic. I know customer first. Customer experience, it doesn't belong to me. And I thought, well, the best way to write this one would be to go out and find some other experts and to share their knowledge. And that's what we did. I reached out through LinkedIn and through the Customer Experience Professional Association to to the community and said, who would like to come and write this book with me? Who wants to contribute a chapter? And it was brilliant. It took 3 months to put together. And if you can read that, can you read it? Yeah, you can read it. Number 1 bestseller in so many different countries, number 1 bestseller in different categories. To be able to say, for these people to be able to go and say, we are now best-selling authors, massive part of their business, massive part of their profile. And this one, this one outsold Seth Godin's book. I'm trying to look on my shelf. This is Marketing. It outsold This is Marketing for nearly a week. And that's a massive thing for me. This one over here, number 1 bestseller in leadership in multiple different countries. So brilliant opportunity, brilliant tool, brilliant asset. last year, well, about 5 years ago, I was talking to a couple of people in Birmingham, and I was talking about my dreams and aspirations. And I said in this meeting, you know, I don't want to work on this project or on this job. What I want to do is, I've got my own vision. I want to go and write for an organization like Harvard or someone like that. And I remember very much in that meeting, people almost laughed at me. You know, they said, these things can't happen. And I said, I know, but I can do it. You know, I know I can do it. I know what I'm talking about. I've got an expertise. I can do it. And, you know, the meeting ended. We didn't do business together. We remained friends and we talked to each other. But the books and all the other work I've done are massive in order to get me to the position of earlier this year being invited to sit on the Forbes Business Council and to specifically share expertise on customer experience. And books are massive assets. You can do all the podcasts, you can do all the social media posts, the YouTube live, the Facebook lives. But what you can't take away is that feeling that when you go and see somebody and you hand someone a book, or when someone emails you, tweets you a picture and says, I'm reading your book. A book is unique in that way. And I guess the question is, where am I going with this? Why am I blowing my own trumpet about this? Having written the customer experience book last year, we have now started the planning for customer experience 2. And we're going to do another book over the next 3 months, another collab book. And this is again an opportunity for people who want to get that profile, an opportunity for people who have a story to tell. And maybe they don't want to go through the pain of writing a book themselves, 15, 18,000 words, several £1,000s of investment. It's very lonely, and it's a lot of investment. And it definitely needs you to take time away from doing other things. But a collab book, you can write, and we can get it, and we've done with the other books, you can get it started and finished within a short period of time, 8 weeks to 12 weeks. So what I'm looking for is people who are interested in joining me on this next project. And this next project will be to write the next book in the series of customer experience. Now, let me tell you a few things about what you need to be able to do in order, if you think that this is the kind of project that you want to get involved in, okay? Because writing a book even a collab book, requires investment. It does need some time from you. And what I really want to do is I'm looking for people who can give me their best thinking. We write with a certain publishing house called Writing Matters. I've done a number of projects with them now, and I love, some of the words that Andrew Priestley uses. And the one comment he says, we want it to be your best thinking. The title here says, 22 international CX professionals share their current best thinking and achieving impact and visibility through best practice CX. I want to speak to people who feel they've got a story, who feel they've got a case study. And I want to speak to people who think that they're ready and they're right and they should be on that world stage. Whilst I can't guarantee that we'll get those number one statuses again, what I can guarantee you is that contributing to our next book project is more likely to get you those statuses than not contributing. You've got to be in it to win it, and you've got a bigger chance when you're in the project. So I am looking for people who will contribute to the project, who have got a chapter to write. The chapter needs to be about 2,000 words at the most. It needs to be your best thinking. And really, I want to get not just consultants, but I'm really looking for people who work in a customer experience, a customer service, a customer professional industry right now. And they want to share a story about what they're doing at the moment, which they feel that the rest of the world should hear about. Now, let us just put a link up underneath these posts for you to, let's put a link up underneath the video for you to be able to see what it takes to get involved in this process. There is a fee payable, and the fee is not for me. It's a nominal fee which covers your portion that would go to the editors who actually produce the book for us. So what they do is, obviously you've got the design, which is straightforward. You've got the layout. You've got the ISBN number. You've got the uploading on Amazon. You've got all those projects and all those aspects that go through the proofreading of your chapters, the production of the graphics in the book in a sufficient quality. So there's one of the images from the last book, in a sufficient quality that it does not let the book down. What it does is it elevates your profile. So what I'm looking for is people who work in industry, and you could be a business owner, you could be working for a big company. I'm not bothered. I'm more interested in your story. I'm more interested in knowing what you've got to share. You know, what is that best practice? What is that great story? What is that piece of innovation that you are doing at the moment that you think is world class, that you think is setting, or is going to set the industry alight? Because once people hear about your story, and once people hear about what you're doing, then they're gonna say, wow, we should be doing that as well. So I'm just going to take a second there just to check if you've got any questions coming up. Hopefully that is making sense to you, and what we're talking about sounds like a project that you want to get involved in. We are looking for 24 in total. I have already received 27 applications from fellow consultants and business experts. But the important thing is I am looking for 6, 8, 10 people who are working at the moment in this kind of industry. I'm looking at people who are working as professionals or business owners or something like that, which is giving them some insight or some knowledge or some experience that they think should be shared on a world stage. So that's what I want to see. I want to see those people coming forward. I want to see the people who feel that they've never had this kind of an opportunity. You know, they would really benefit from being able to share their story or their best practice on the world stage. That's the kind of people I want to hear from. So if you think that that's you, then we've put a link. We've put a link below. Oh, hello! Just saw my little man pass through. We put a link below this post, and what I need you to do is click on the link and just register your interest. You don't need to write anything at the moment. All you need to do right now is register your interest. And what we will be doing is, for the people who are interested and for the people who have submitted your interest, who have submitted an outline that makes sense or that sounds interesting, what we'll do is we are going to set up over the next week or two, we are going to set up a Zoom call in which they will have the opportunity to ask their questions, get to know about the project a bit more, see who else is involved in the project, and take it from there. So right now, all we're asking for is business professionals in the customer service, customer experience sector, in the retail sector, hospitality sector, whatever sector you're in fact. But if you're a professional who has a story to sell in terms of customer service, customer experience, register your interest and let's get you on this project. I've no doubt at all in my mind, you know, with the process that we followed before, you know, these 3 books have all been #1 bestsellers, you know, and I've got absolutely no doubt in my mind that we can't get another #1 bestseller, you know, alongside Writing Matters. So we will work with Writing Matters again. Alongside Writing Matters, we've got a process that works. What we need now is those contributors, those authors, those stories, those case studies that will set you apart. And what we want to do is get you involved in this project. Hope that's made sense. Reach out to me. If you've got any questions, let me know. But simple enough, fill in the form, have a look, and let's take it from there. I look forward to seeing you on the project with me soon. But for now, that's the first ever NAC TV live episode. I hope it's worked, and I hope we haven't any technical issues in the background. Speak soon. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.